At the start of the design process, we carry out research so that we can fully understand the need for the product. So this includes establishing why the product's needed, what the gaps in the market are, what the current products are like and why they might be good or why they might not be so good, and looking at specific data that we can use to improve. Later on, it might be about finding out specific details about sizes or materials or part of our testing. So there's a lot of different research that goes on through the design process. Just as important as understanding why we need to research, understanding how it's done is very important too. Now, there are many techniques that we would use in design and manufacture, but we're going to look at two today, and that is a user trial and a questionnaire. Now, a user trip or a user trial involves someone physically using the product that you're looking at and observing how they use it, looking out for any opportunities for improvement. So this could mean getting a range of different people to use the product. Like the example we spoke about, left-handed users might use things differently from a right-handed user. Age can be another issue. Different age groups might have different difficulties. And also just comparing simple things like the environment that they're working in can help you to spot opportunities to improve a product. Questionnaires or surveys are a really good way of collecting a large amount of responses quickly. You could watch one person using a product and get lots of really detailed information, but if you're using questionnaires, the fact that you don't give you their feedback, then a questionnaire or a survey is a good way to do that. Most questionnaires are now done online by sending them to people, and they can click, and then you can actually get all your answers analysed as well. So they're a really convenient way of getting a large response. Now, questionnaires are a brilliant way to get a large amount of information, but they only work if you ask the right questions. So for example, if we carry on with the example of the vegetable peeler, if you ask someone a question like, do you like this peeler, or did it work well, the chances are you're going to get yes or no answers. That's a very closed response, and it doesn't give you anything to work on. A yes or a no doesn't really give you a something to go and improve on. Questions like this can be improved on just by a really small change to how you ask the question. So instead of saying, do you like the peeler or did the peeler work, you ask how much do you like it, or how well does it work? And in that way, instead of giving a yes or a no answer, they can give you some sort of rating. Now that rating could vary in what your responses might be. But if you give them a rating, that gives you a scale of how well this is working, and it also just makes it much easier for you to quantify your answers. It's much easier to say how many people said this or how many people said that if you've got a ratings question. So adding ratings makes your closed question a little bit more valuable. So while closed questions mean that the answers or the number of responses that someone can give are limited, open questions don't have that. Open questions mean that someone can give you any answer they like. Now, there's lots of advantages to that because they can give you a lot of detail, maybe something you haven't thought about. So for example, if I said, what are the key features you look for in a peeler? then they might come up with suggestions that you hadn't thought of at all. The disadvantage of this is that if you go and ask hundreds of people or thousands of people, then you might get 1,000 different responses, and that can be quite tricky to quantify. So to summarise, we carry out research as our opportunity to ask lots of questions and get lots of answers. Spending the time on this stage in the design process will benefit us in the long run, because it will help us to really understand our design brief, really understand the need for our product, and ultimately design the very best product for the problem.